Good day everyone, I am Jeremy Garcia and I am about to discuss the routing algorithm.
Contents, we have the routing algorithm, dynamic routing, types of dynamic routing, static routing, and the types of static routing. Let us first define what is routing algorithm. When we say routing algorithm, it is a procedure that lays down the route or path to transfer data packets from source to the destination. They help in directing internet traffic efficiently. After a data packet leaves its source, it can choose among the many different paths to reach its destination. There are two types of routing algorithm, which is the dynamic routing and the static routing. Dynamic routing, when we say dynamic routing, it makes routing decisions dynamically depending on the network conditions. It constructs the routing tables depending upon the network traffic and topology. They try to compute the optimized route depending upon the hop count, transit time, and the distance. There are three types of dynamic routing. First is we have the centralized algorithm. It finds at least cost path between source and destination nodes by using global knowledge about the network. Second is the isolated algorithm. This algorithm procedures the routing informations by using local information instead of gathering information from other nodes. Third is the distributed algorithm. This is the centralized algorithm that computes at least cost path between source and destination interrelatively in a distributed manner. Static routing. When we say static routing, it constructs a static routing table to determine the path through which packets are to be sent. The static routing table is constructed based upon the routing information stored in the routers when the network is boosted up. There are two types of static routing, which is the flooding and the random walks. In flooding, when a data packet arrives at the router, it is sent to all the outgoing links except the one it has arrived on. Flooding may be uncontrolled, controlled, or selective flooding. Random walks, it is probabilistic algorithm where a data packet is sent by the router to any one of its neighbors randomly. Let us differentiate the dynamic routing and the static routing. When we talk about the configuration technique, in static routing, routing tables are manually updated, while on the dynamic routing tables are dynamically updated. Second is the bandwidth. When we are talking about the static routing, it requires less bandwidth than the dynamic routing. On the other hand, dynamic routing requires more bandwidth than static routing. Third is the path or routes. In static routing, paths are defined by administrative, while on the dynamic routing, paths are updated according to the changes in the network. 4 is the application area. In static routing, it is implemented in small network, while on the dynamic routing, it is implemented in large network. 5th is the routing protocol. In static routing, it does not use any protocol, while on the dynamic routing, it uses protocols like EIGRP, ARP, etc. to calculate the routing operation. 6 is the routing algorithms. In static routing, it does not use any complex routing algorithm. The dynamic routing uses complex routing algorithms. 7 is the security. In static routing, it is highly secure than the dynamic routing. On the other hand, dynamic routing infrastructure is small, while on the dynamic routing, network infrastructure is large. And lastly, we have the failure of link. In static routing, link failure disturbs routing is in process, while on the dynamic routing, link failure does not disturb routing is in process. That's all for today. Thank you.